This is a Talk2Jack Podcast with UnkuJack, exploring topics on heart, mind, soul, and the human experience. Let's talk. Hey there, everyone. How are you today? Welcome to another episode of the Talk2Jack Podcast. I'm your host, UnkuJack, and I'm here with another episode. As always, I am excited to be speaking with you today on some of my thoughts and some of my topics that come up to me, many of them in the middle of the night. And one of the things that I found that happens to me quite a bit is in the middle of the night, I will start to kind of play back images in my head of certain things that have happened, certain things that have transpired in the course of my day, in the course of my week, or even in the course of my life. And many times these thoughts and these words, these messages will come to me through memories of conversations that I've had, or things that I've been told, or things that I've said, or whatever. And it's an amazing thing when you can hear something so vividly and so real. At some point I got scared. I started looking these things up, right? I wanted to find out if there's some type of medical condition, because really I would sit by myself and have these real auditory voices that I would hear, not random voices. Most times they're voices of my mother, calling my name or saying something to me. Or I would just have a memory, a very vivid memory, where I could almost hear her physical voice, telling me something, telling me a story, or telling me a message, or having a conversation like we used to have. And it's a memory, a very vivid one. And the other day, I had a similar experience in the middle of the night again, lying in bed, and I started thinking to myself about how voices of our pasts sometimes start to echo in our present, and how certain situations that we've been through, experiences, certain things that have impacted us positively or negatively, all of a sudden start to manifest in a version or a form of themselves in our now. And so all of a sudden you have a situation where you're having a form of deja vu. That's what it is. Deja vu. Where you feel like, I've been here before. I've experienced this before. And if I'll be honest, it happens more often with negative experiences, where you're in a situation, maybe you just met a new friend, or you're in the talking stage of a relationship with someone, and all of a sudden, something just seems so familiar, and it doesn't feel good. Something feels too familiar. Feels like I've been here before. It feels like I've experienced this before. It feels like, no, something's going down a path, and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel comfortable. I need to bail. Sometimes that happens with a business deal. You're getting close to closing, but there's this nagging voice in your head where something just feels off. It feels familiar. It feels like I've been here before. It feels like this has happened before. I got involved with this MMM program some time ago, and it felt very much like this, and I lost a lot of money, and so on and so forth. And you find yourself freaking out and panicking. And I started asking myself the question, if I had not experienced this particular scenario already, would my reaction today, who I am today, with what I know so far about life and the things that I've been through, would my reaction be the same? Would I start to feel antsy? Would I feel panicky? Would I run? Would I feel like I needed to run? If this person or this situation had come up now and I had never experienced it before, would I look at it objectively, or would I compare it to my previous experiences, and then would I run? There is no right or wrong answer to that scenario. There is no right or wrong answer to that question. But these are my thoughts. I think that sometimes we give the past a little bit too much muscle in our lives. We give it a little bit too much strength in our lives. Because you experienced something before, doesn't mean that what you're experiencing right now is the same thing. You've changed. You're different. The time has changed. Time is different. Your experiences over the years have taught you things. The environment is not the same. The individuals involved are not the same. So don't you owe it to yourself to take a look? I'm not saying jump in blindly. I'm not saying just do it and see what happens. I'm saying don't you owe it to yourself to at least gauge this new input of information with fresh eyes, given the benefit of hindsight, given the benefit of what you already know, given the benefit of the experiences that you've had. Don't you owe it to yourself to actually give things a proper look and experience something, at least gain knowledge from your experiences? It's a thought. I don't know that there is a right or wrong answer, but thinking about the ripples that our past experiences can have in our present, and understanding that sometimes it is not fair on our present to judge everything in our present by our past, because the situations are not always the same. They may be similar. They may feel familiar, but they're not the same. And we owe it to ourselves to learn in our current states, to examine in our current states, to explore in our current states. I'll give you an example. As a kid, I said this before, I had a huge fear of the ocean, but I loved it. So I have always loved water. I loved swimming. I just love water. But I had this massive fear of the ocean. There were always these horror stories about people drowning and people being carried away by the water. And it was a scary experience. And I thought, I will never get in the ocean. And I guess my fear at that age was valid as a child, as a teenager. The fears were valid. And even up until my adulthood, my fear of the ocean was valid. My only experiences up until that point had been negative in terms of the things that I had seen, and maybe even a few experiences. Standing, at the shore with the waves coming in and pulling back, with the sand moving back, it makes it feel like you're being pulled into the ocean. So with all the information I had available to me at the time, it felt valid that I should be afraid of the ocean and just don't go in. But later on in life, with the benefit of knowledge, taking scuba diving lessons, becoming certified as a scuba diver, and understanding the ocean more, and understanding tides, and understanding buoyancy, and understanding the compositions of different bodies of water, and things like that, that fear is no longer as valid as it was back then. I have new inputs. I'm not the same person I was. The ocean is the same. My knowledge about the ocean is different. And keeping that in mind has helped make me more open to more experiences around the ocean and doing more things around the ocean. That does not apply to every area of your life. Obviously, if it smells like fish, if it smells like poop, if it smells like crap, it might be crap. Or it might be something else. But, I'm not advocating that you jump into things blindly. I'm just saying that be open to new inputs, given that you are not the same person that you were. You're not in the same situation that you were. You're definitely not in the same time that you were. And so it helps for the purpose of growth and to also conquer our fears, to be open to new inputs, and to make our decisions appropriately in line with those inputs. Anyway, that is my topic for today. I hope you found that interesting. If you did, please send us a DM or a message on our social media platforms, UnkuJack. That's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. You can also send us an email via our website or by your regular email at info@jackandi.com. That's JACKANDI.com. Everybody stay safe. Have a great day, week, month, year. And as always, be inspired. This has been the Talk2Jack Podcast with UnkuJack. Tune in next time for another episode.